Autism is a bioneurological developmental disability that usually appears before the age of 3. Dan Dominich from the American Association of School Administrators says there are generally 5 behaviors that signal the need for a child to be evaluated for autism.
Generally, if a child, by the time he's 12 months old, doesn't coo, doesn't babble, or within that same time period doesn't gesture, doesn't point, those are certainly signs. If by the time the child is 18 months old, we haven't heard a single word, or that by the time the child is 2 years old, the child has not been able to put 2 words, a short phrase together, that's certainly a sign. And then at any age, really, in the developmental process, if we see any loss of language or any loss in social behavior, that's a sign as well. These are things that I think are warning for parents to have the child checked out just to be sure.
Autism does not affect a person's life expectancy. Currently, there is no cure. However, with early intervention and treatment, the diverse symptoms related to autism can be managed and improved. Well, in today's Parent-Teacher Corner, we all know teaching children with autism is a challenge for any public school teacher. And with teacher turnover, it is even more difficult than ever for school districts to develop any sort of continuity until now. Joining me this morning to introduce an education model that has already been implemented in several school systems is Beverly Brayman and Susan Catlett, PhDs and co-creator of Autism in Action. Hello, ladies.
Good morning. Hi, good morning.
Good to see you. Thanks for being here. You know, it's hard to believe. Everybody knows somebody who has autism. My best friend's son has autism, and it's interesting that research shows, what is it, like 1 in 110 children born is showing traits in the autism spectrum. Those numbers are pretty troubling.
They really are alarming, and in fact, that may actually be an underestimation of the true incidence rate. It could be higher in terms of how old that data is, the age of the children that data was collected on. We see autism occur in boys about 4 times more frequently than girls. And so given the 1 in 110 incidence rate, about 1 in 70 boys now is identified on the autism spectrum.
Wow, and one of the questions I asked you off camera was why? What causes it? And that's the answer that we don't know. We don't know why.
We don't. There is really no universally agreed upon cause theory yet, and so we simply just don't know.
Now, you both have written, what, 40 teaching programs and 2 handbooks to help guide teachers on what to teach and how to teach it with regards to autism. But here's the fact, with budgets the way they are today, right? Getting the right training, also another issue. Teacher turnover rates, as we talked about in the intro here, and also school districts just struggling to build the capacity they need for educating this ongoing epidemic, this ongoing number of students who are diagnosed with autism. Does it seem to be an uphill battle?
You know, it really is. It's very challenging to meet the training needs that we have. Beverly and I are both private consultants. We work with children on the autism spectrum, both with families and in public schools. And we've been doing this for a combined 50+ years. And over the years, we've realized how difficult it is to really meet the training needs of the school district. So about 11 years ago, we just started kind of writing down what we say and what we do to try to fill that training gap so teachers and families could have resources without having to go to a conference or a formal training.
Well, you know, very impressive of you to take matters into your own hands and create the Autism in Action teaching programs and handbooks. Let's talk about one of the key components in your program, ABA.
Okay. ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. And Applied Behavior Analysis is really the science of changing behavior. There's a set of principles and procedures that we use in everything we do in working with children with autism that's a really good match for them. But it just basically is a set of procedures that we use to teach the students that we work with.
The great thing about ABA for learners on the autism spectrum is that it really is an ideal instructional match. What we know about the way that people on the spectrum learn is that they need to see what we say, and they need lots of repetition and lots of reinforcement. And so ABA provides us a really systematic set of procedures where we can break learning into very small segments for lots of reinforceable moments and lots of rehearsals.
Can you show me how it works?
Sure. One of the things that we do in our how-to teaching programs and in our teacher handbooks is we teach parents and teachers how to break skills down. This is just an example of washing hands. What we do is we have the words and the pictures, and the learner uses these prompts. It allows the adults to back out of the learning situation and create more independence, and then over time we fade out the pictures and the word prompts.
Okay, so it is interesting because they need to have that visual.
They learn best by seeing what needs to happen.
What needs to happen. Very interesting. I'm fascinated by this because I shared with you that my father taught special education for 30 years, recently retired. I cannot begin to tell you the challenges he faced doing that. And I'm sure with a lot of the teachers who are out there today who are struggling to try to figure out how to get this not just into their classrooms but into school districts as a whole, that can be challenging in and of itself.
Well, all of our how-to teaching programs and handbooks are available online at our website. You can buy them individually, or what we found is that most school systems are buying them the complete sets for the teachers that they have who work with children with autism, and then to help build that collaboration between school and home. A lot of times school districts are using the how-to teaching programs in homes with the families.
Let's talk a little bit more about the school-home connection, because this seems to be a terrific resource for parents as well.
We really view learning as a shared partnership between homes and schools. And neither Susan or I parent a child on the autism spectrum, like you said, but we have worked in thousands of their homes over the years. And it is a difficult journey. It can be exhausting financially and emotionally and physically. And so, like I said, we view the partnership between homes and schools as critical to the development of more appropriate skills and behaviors for our learners.
And for that reason, we really kept the series in very non-technical terms, very user-friendly. We want people to be able to see child progress with the data collection forms that are in there and all of that. And so, again, it's based on those research-based practices that we know work with our kids.
Well, bravo, ladies. Terrific work you're doing. And thank you so much for coming by and sharing it with our viewers this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And if you want to learn more information, simply visit the website autisminaction.com.